Hello dear students, welcome back to the engineering graphics class. This is Professor Anand Badkir here. In today's session, I am going to show you that how you can draw the isometric drawings using the AutoCAD software. So that is what today we are going to learn. So you know the basic procedures and setting in the AutoCAD software, which you can go through the previous videos which I have uploaded, where I have explained that how to do the basic settings, page setup in software. Now, before you start with the isometric drawings, there are two things that should be made a note of. First thing, ortho should be always kept on. So you'll press F8, that is function 8 button shortcut key to switch on the ortho. Ortho should be on, or else you can press the pick it from the below command prompt. So make sure ortho is on. Second thing is you need to switch from rectangular mode to isometric mode. So right now the mode what we are in, this is called as rectangular mode. So we have to switch from rectangular mode to isometric mode. So to do that, you need to type O snap settings, press enter. So that should open up the object snap settings. So here you need to go to snap and grid, and here under snap type, you need to change from rectangular snap to isometric snap, and then okay. So now you can see that the orientation of the mouse cursor has changed. Before it was like in the plus symbol, now it is coming like in the different cross mark. So this is nothing but the different planes of isometrics. So as you know, isometric has three planes: right plane, top plane, and left plane. So to change the orientation of the plane while drawing, you have to use F5 function 5 button. So if you press F5, see here, if I press F5 once, it has changed to isoplane left. You can see just above the command prompt, it is showing isoplane left. Observe there. I press one more time, it comes isoplane top, and one more time, isoplane right. So this F5 button is used to change the orientation of the plane using the drawing. So these are the two very first thing you need to do it. First thing is keep the ortho on always. Second thing is change from rectangular mode to isometric mode. Now if you don't switch on the ortho, I will show you what will happen. Now let us start with the drawing. Let me say I want to draw a cube first, a simple object. So I'll take line command from here. I'll let us say cube is 50 mm, 50, enter. Okay. So when I kept the ortho on, I'll show you the difference. If you keep the ortho on, you can see the angle it is automatically taking 30 degrees with respect to horizontal. That is how it goes with the isometric drawing. If I switch off the ortho, you can see that it is not taking any specific angle here. Here I have to manually enter the angle. So the benefit of keeping the ortho on in isometric mode is that automatically it will take the isometric angle at which the line has to be drawn. So you only need to bother about the length of the line. Okay. So let me continue this. So from this end, I'll click. So you can see here, when I'm moving the mouse on the right hand side, it is continuing in the same direction, but I want it on the next plane. So I'll just move the mouse manually, or you can press F5 button to change the orientation. So if you press F5 button, you can see here, I am changing the orientation of the plane. Either you can press F5 and change it, or you can just move the mouse, it will automatically change. So this is again 50. Then I'll move the mouse. So you can see it is coming down, but I want it on the left side. So press F5, 50, and then back to origin 50. That's it. Okay. So this is the base of the cube. So height of the cube would be 50 mm. It's a cube, so height will be 50. So two methods. One thing is that you can draw the lines from each corner. From each corner, you can draw 50 mm line and join the top faces, or else you can copy this base and move it at a height of 50 mm. Both can be done. Because we are doing it in the software, we are doing it to reduce our effort. So instead of drawing four lines from each corner of 50 mm, I can directly copy this and move it at a height of 50 mm. So I'll just select this, use move command. So click on any one of the corner, any one corner, and then you can see it is moving on the iso top plane, but I want it on a different plane. So I'll press F5. So now I can see it is moving above. So this is the plane I want. Okay. Then if you give 50, the object will move to the top level. but I don't want to move the object. I want to copy another same thing at a height of 50 mm. So I have to use copy command. So I'll select, click on copy from one corner and then give height 50, enter. That's it. Okay. So same thing. Now join all the corners. Join all the corners one by one. Right. And this corner to bottom corner. Then the hidden edges are to be erased. So these will be the hidden edges. We'll erase it. So you can see that this is a cube of 50 by this is a cube of 50 mm, right? So now you check the dimension here. Once you check it dimension, it is 50 mm only. But you know that isometric length will be different from the true length. In true length, if it is 50 mm, in isometric length, it should reduce by a factor of 0.816. So it means 50 into 0.8164. That should be the isometric length of the object. But in software, by default, it takes the true length. So once the drawing is done, it's necessary that we reduce this to isometric length. That is one point we have to follow here. So what I will do is I'll select the entire object, select the entire entity or the object. Then you need to reduce it to isometric scale now. So you have to use the scale command. So here under modify tab, you have scale command. You have scale command here. This is the scale command. So click on scale and it'll ask specify a base point from where you want to scale it. You can choose either this bottom base or in the top any one base. Make sure it will be scaled equally in all the direction. So I will choose this particular point. Once I click, it is asking what is the scale factor. If you move here, you can see in the command prompt it is asking specify the scale factor. So scale factor is 0.8164, the isometric scale factor. Then press enter. So now if you see, the 50 mm has reduced to what? 41 mm. In isometric, the true length 50 mm in isometric will become 41 mm. So now you can say that it has been changed to isometric length. Okay. So don't forget, once the object has been drawn in the software, by default it will be to its true length. You need to scale it down to isometric length. That is the important point. So you know how to draw the cube now. In the same way, you can draw different objects also. Like if you have a cube, or you can have a like a square prism, right? So the height may be different. So you can draw the square prism. You can draw rectangular prism in the same manner. You can draw a rectangle and then move it at a height of particular height. Okay. So by drawing the square, your same procedure will be followed for square prism and rectangular prism also. Now let me show you how to draw a hemisphere. Okay, so let us try to draw a hemisphere. So hemisphere, as you know, the top part of the hemisphere will look like ellipse and the bottom part will be like a curve. So to draw the hemisphere in manual sketch, we usually go for force center method. We draw a box equal to the diameter of the hemisphere, then we use the force center method and join all the points. But in software, you can directly draw the ellipse. You don't have to go for this. So what you need to do is just type ellipse, just type ELL, that's it. Then press enter. Once you press this, it is asking specify axis of the ellipse. If you look into the command prompt below, there are three options: arc, center, isocircle. So out of these three options in the command prompt, it will be displayed. Out of these three options here, I need to click on isocircle, this particular part. So when I click on isocircle, then it will ask for the radius of isocircle. I can directly give. So let us say I want to draw a hemisphere of 50 mm. So radius will be 25. So after typing ELL, I'll click on isocircle. Then it will ask where is the center of isocircle, from where I want to draw it. So let us say this is the center. I'll just click here once and move the mouse. So you can see it is coming on the isometric left plane, but I want it in the top plane, let us say. So then press F5. So now it is in isometric top plane. Let us say 50 mm is the diameter. So let me give it as 25 radius. Press enter. Right? So there you get the isocircle or the ellipse directly, which we usually do it in force center method in manual sketch. It is very simple over here. Now this ellipse, whatever you have drawn, this also will get reduced to isoscale. So we don't have to forget that. This also will also get reduced to isoscale, but the bottom curve, what we are going to draw here, that will remain to the true length, because you know that a sphere, that is a football, let us take an example of football, you tilt it at, rotate it at whatever angle, its dimension is not going to change when it is projected, correct? So even when you take a football and project it and tilt it at 90 degree, 180 degree, 30 degree, whatever degree, when you project it onto the screen, its diameter, if it is 50 mm, irrespective of its tilting angle, it is going to remain as 50 mm. So the bottom part of the hemisphere is nothing but a part of a sphere itself. So this bottom curve is going to remain to its true length only. So what you are going to do is, you are first going to reduce the scale of this ellipse, then you are going to draw the bottom curve. So select the ellipse, go to scale command, this is the scale, click on it. So click on the center of this ellipse, just left click once, then give the scaling factor 0.8164, press enter. So now it is reduced to what? Isoscale. Now I have to draw the bottom curve. So use the center start end arc, under that center start end. Now click here, go click on the start point, this is the start point, and click on the end point, that is the end point. So this is another object, a hemisphere. Now let us say this hemisphere is resting on top of this sphere, and both are, let us say, collinear. So this hemisphere is resting on top of this sphere and both the axes are collinear, let us say. So in that scenario, we have to make sure that in that scenario you just find the midpoint of this box. So from here to here, just draw one line, and from here to here, draw one line. So you got the midpoint of the box. Now from this midpoint, the axis of hemisphere should come. So hemisphere radius diameter is 50 mm. So radius will be what? 25 mm. So take a line command from this center of this box, go 25 mm vertical. So it is on the right plane, press F5. So it will go vertical. Now give 25 mm, press enter. Okay. So once this is done, I'll just delete these construction lines, not required. So this is the axis of hemisphere, but remember, this is the true length. I need to reduce it to isoscale before I bring this hemisphere and place on top of this. That is very important, because when this object is tilted, even the axis of the hemisphere is also going to get reduced. Only the bottom curve will remain to its true length. So select this, use the scale command, from the bottom, reduce it to 0.8164, enter. So this is reduced to isoscale now. So the center of the hemisphere will come and lie on the tip of this radius. So just select this, use the move command, click the center of this ellipse and bring it on top of this. That's it. So that makes the combination of two solids, a cube and a hemisphere. So one important thing what I did here is I drew both the solids separately, then I just moved it and kept it on top of that. Instead of starting from there itself, it's very easy to draw it separately and then keep on top of this. So now whichever is not visible, that has to be trimmed. So I'll use trim command. So these parts which are under the hemisphere will not be visible. So if you want, you can keep this axis line, or else you can delete it. Okay, this is done. So this is the final combination of the solids cube. On top of that, you have a hemisphere, right? So you need to show one dimension for this. So I will take radius option, and then I will show the radius for the bottom curve of the hemisphere, right? So that completes one problem. Okay, now let me show you how to draw another different objects. Like let us say we want to draw a prism, which is, let us say, a pentagonal prism or a hexagonal prism. So you know that the pentagon or hexagon cannot be directly drawn into the software like this, even in the manual sketch also. we use the box method. Like if you have a pentagonal prism or hexagonal prism, first we draw the hexagonal to its true length, and then we enclose it within a box, and that dimension we transfer here. So let me take one example. Let us say I want to draw an hexagonal prism. Okay, let us say the hexagonal prism is of 35 mm edge length. So I have already drawn the hexagonal prism here to its true length, which is 35 mm. Then I have enclosed this hexagonal prism within a box. So I want to find what is this box dimension. Then this box dimension I am going to draw it in isometric, and then I'm going to locate the corners of this hexagon. So let us say this corner is A, starting in this direction, A, B, C, D, E. So let me just name and show it. It becomes easier. So let us say this is A and B, okay, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so I want to draw this hexagon in isometric. So I've drawn it to the true length first, then enclose it in the box. And let us see the box dimension. Box dimension is 761 cross 70. So let me draw this box dimension in isometric first. So let us say 61 mm, I will draw it in this direction, and 70 mm on the other side. You can take it vice versa also. So this is 70, 61, and back to 70. So this is 61, this is 70. Now according to this drawing, on the side of 70 mm length, I have A and B corners which are at a distance of 18 mm from this extreme side and this extreme side. On the same line, we have D and E also, which are also at a distance of 18 mm from this extreme corner and this extreme corner. And C and F are exactly at the center of the 61 mm line, that is at its midpoint. So I know this much. So with this, I can trace the points. So I'll start from this corner. I want to trace a point. So I'll draw 18 mm line. Okay, and I'll just extend it a little bit outside and leave so that I can find out where is the point actually. And from this side also, I'll draw 18 mm and just leave it here. So you know that on the same line, you'll get another two corner points over here. So I'll just draw one line, extend this line and leave here. So here I have A, B, D, E. So I require C and F now. So C and F are exactly at the center of this, at the center of this. So now I'll take line command. So this is A, B, C, that's the midpoint, D, E, and C, it is showing midpoint, F, and back to A. That's it. So the hexagonal prism is done. So whichever lines I don't require, I'll just delete them. So this is how I have traced hexagonal within the this isometric length. Now let us say it is a hexagonal prism. Let me say its length is 60 mm. So simple, just select the hexagon, then use the copy command, click on copy, select any one of the corners, and then give height. So press the F5 to change the orientation, give height 60 mm, enter. So you can see that I already got the one more hexagon. Now take the line command and join corners to corners. Okay, yeah, that's it. So that becomes a hexagonal prism. So whichever is not visible to the observer, we can take them off. So these all edges within the hexagon are not visible to the observer. Sorry, not that line. So delete. So these all are construction lines. These also I don't require. Again, erase them. So that becomes the hexagon. Now let us say on top of this hexagon, I have a sphere which is resting. Okay, on top of this hexagon, let us say there is a sphere of 50 mm diameter which is resting on top of this. So you know that the sphere is not going to change its length. It is going to remain to its true length. So what I will do, I will find the midpoint of this hexagon, of the top face of this hexagon first. So you join this. So this becomes the midpoint. From here I have to draw the axis of the sphere. So let us say diameter is 60 mm. Okay, so the radius would be 30. So from here I will go straight 30, enter. So this becomes the radius of the sphere. Now as I told you, the sphere is not going to change its in isometric length. So before you draw the sphere, you have to make sure that this entire drawing is reduced to isoscale. You are not going to reduce the sphere scale. So only this drawing you have to select and reduce it to isoscale. So I'll select the entire drawing, then click on scale command. So this is the scale command. I'll just click on this. I'll select center base and give 0.8164 scale factor, enter. So now it has reduced to what? Isoscale. Now I can draw the circle here, the sphere, which will look like a circle. So I'll take circle, center diameter or center radius. This is the center of the circle and diameter is 60 mm, enter. So that becomes the sphere on top of it. So whichever is not visible, I can just trim them. So the lines and the edges which are not visible, so these things I'm just going to trim it off. So now you can see this is the combination of two solids where you have a hexagonal prism and on top of that you have a circle resting on it. So you need to show one of the dimensions for this. So I'm just going to show one particular dimension for both of the solid. So I will show one dimension for this particular solid. For example, I'm going to show the height of the prism and then I'm going to show the radius for this circle. Okay, so using the radius command, I'm showing the radius for this R30. Okay, that's it. Now let us say, so by this you know that whether you have a square prism, pentagon prism, hexagonal prism or a triangular prism, you can use the same method to draw which I applied for hexagon, and the sphere also is drawn. Now let us say I want to draw first term of a pyramid. Okay, for example, let us say I want to draw a pyramid itself, not a first term. Let us see. So I'm undoing all the things. Okay, so let us say I have drawn the base of the hexagon. Now let us say instead of hexagonal prism, I want a pyramid here. So very simple, pyramid you know that will have only base and apex point. So simple thing is you need to locate the center first. So this is the center of the hexagon. From center, let us say the height of the pyramid is 70 mm. So from here, you directly draw a line of 70 mm height, 70, enter. Okay, so this becomes the axis of the pyramid. Then you join this axis to all the corners. That's it. So you can see I'm joining the apex to all the corners of the base. Yes, so that becomes the hexagonal pyramid. So whichever are not visible to you, you can easily erase them. Okay, so whichever is not visible inside those lines, for example, these edges of the hexagonal prism won't be visible, so I can delete them. So this part, so the construction lines and remaining these lines also you can trim whichever is not visible to the observer, right? Yes, so that is clear now. So this becomes a hexagonal pyramid, right? So instead of copying it one more time, you just take the apex and join it to the corners. Okay, now let us try to see one more type of solid, that is first term of a pyramid. So I'm just undoing these things. Okay, so as you know, this hexagon what I have drawn is a base edge of 35 mm edge length. Okay, so it is a 35 mm edge length which I have drawn just now. So let us say this is having a height of 60 mm, and at a height of a 60 mm it has been chopped by a cutting plane which is parallel to its base. Okay, so that is called first term. Whenever a cutting plane chops a solid and the cutting plane becomes parallel to the base, then that is called as a first term of a pyramid. So here when it is chopped at a height of 60 mm, you are going to see one more hexagon in the top. So let us say that hexagon what you are going to see on the top is of 20 dimension. Okay, it is of 20 dimension. So the base edge is 35, total height is 60, and at the top hexagon what you are looking is of 20 So that is the first term of a hexagonal pyramid what is given. So now I want to draw a 20 hexagon at the top. So does it mean that once again I have to draw 20 hexagon, enclose it within a box and then draw it over here? Yes, that you have to do in theory when you're doing the manual sketch. That time you have to do. But in the software, you can do it much easier. You can just use a scale command and do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this base of the hexagon, okay, and I'm going to scale it down to the 20 edge length. So when I'm going to scale it to the 20 edge length, so the scaling factor would be 20 divided by 35. The top hexagon edge length divided by bottom edge length of hexagon will give me the scaling factor. So 20 divided by 35, so that is nothing but 0.57. So that becomes the scaling factor. So what I will do now, I'll select this hexagon. So this hexagon I will select, then I'll use scale command. So here I have scale command, so I'll click on scale. Once you click on scale, it is asking where is the base point. Always when you are going to scale like this, please select the center. Okay, so once you click on center, now don't directly give the scale factor. If you directly give the scale factor, the original hexagon itself will get reduced to 20 but I want to copy this base and then reduce it to scale of 20 So once you click on the center, in the command prompt, click on copy button. You can see here in the command prompt, you have something called as copy. So click on copy first. After clicking on copy, now the original hexagon has been copied. So that copied one, we are going to reduce it to 20 So the scale factor is what? 20 divided by 35. So that is 0.57 is the scale factor. Give the scale factor and then press enter. So now you can see that you have got one more hexagonal prism here, which is of 20 edge length. This base is 35 and this is 20. Now you select this hexagon and move it at a height of 60 That's it. Select it, click on the move command. From the center, press F5 to change the orientation and give the height 60 press enter. That's it. So you can see that it has moved to a height of 60 Then you join all the corners to the base. So look here, this you can join it to the corners of the base. That's it. So that becomes the first term of a hexagonal pyramid. So in the same way, you can do it for pentagonal pyramid and square pyramid also. Same thing you can just follow there also. So whichever is not visible, I'm just trimming it so that it becomes more clear and visible. Okay, so that is the first term of a hexagonal prism. Now let us say on top of this first term of a hexagonal prism, a cylinder is resting. On top of this, let us say a cylinder is resting horizontally on this. And let us say the cylinder is of total 150 in length and diameter is 40 150 long and diameter 40 So how to draw the cylinder? So you know that cylinder has two circular faces. So obviously I have to draw two ellipses. Then I have to draw one axis 150 length and join them tangentially. That's it. So to draw the ellipse, we have to use ellipse command ELL, press enter. Don't forget to select isocircle here, very important. Click on isocircle, then click wherever you want to draw the cylinder. I'll click here. I can see here the cylinder is coming on the iso right plane. So as I said that the cylinder is going to rest horizontally. So I have to either draw it in iso right plane or iso left plane. I cannot draw it in top plane. If I draw it in top plane, the cylinder will become vertical. I'll show that also. So let us first draw it horizontal. So I have clicked, it is on the iso right plane. So that is what I want. So diameter is, let us say 40. So radius would be 20, 20, enter. So now I have to give the axis of 150 length. Total length is what? 150 of the cylinder. So I'll just copy this and move it at a length of 150 mm. Simple. So I'll click on this, click on copy, select the center of the cylinder and just, so it is moving top, press F5. So it is moving proper now. Now give the length 150 mm, enter. Okay, that's it. So you can see that it has coincided here. Let me just move it outside. Okay, so this is the cylinder, total 150 mm length. Now take the line command and join it tangentially. Okay, so this is the cylinder. Now this cylinder is resting on top of this. Okay, so I need the radius of the cylinder to be kept here. So for that I need axis also. So I'm going to draw the axis of the cylinder. So let us say this cylinder is resting exactly at the midpoint of its axis. So 150 mm is the total length. So exactly at 75 mm at the midpoint, it is resting on top of this pyramid. So for this, I need to mark what? Radius of the cylinder. So for that, I have to locate center of the hexagon. Okay, is the center. Then line command. So total diameter is 40. So radius would be 20. Okay, so this axis at its midpoint is resting on top of this. Okay, so I'll select this complete cylinder now and I'm going to use move command. Move from the midpoint of this line, it is going to rest on top of this. See, so that becomes the combination of two solids, right? So by this we learned how to draw first term of a pyramid and how to draw a cylinder. So that becomes quite easy, right? So using the ellipse command, you can draw cylinders and different types also. For example, you have different problems wherein you have a square block with a cylinder in front of it. For example, let us say, okay, let me just delete this. For example, let us say you have a square block here. Let us say of 40 mm width and 80 mm height. So 40. So I'm drawing it in one of the right planes. Okay. So F5. So let us say this is 70, 40, back to here. So from here, 70. I'm just taking some random dimensions. You can take any dimensions. So let us say this is one square prism. On the front face of this here, a cylinder is extruded, right? So to do that, first I need to locate its center. So first I will locate its center. So this midpoint to this midpoint. Okay, so I know this is the center for ellipse now. So I can directly use ellipse command. Then click on isocircle and click at this point. So this is iso top, but I want this particular plane, that is iso right. So let us say the diameter is 20, 40 mm. So diameter will be, radius will be 20. So I have drawn one. So just select this, click on copy from center, press F5 and move it forward. So let us say length is some 100 mm. Okay. So you can see I have drawn it and then you can join from tangentially. So that becomes the another problem. So here this inside part of the cylinder will not be visible. These parts will trim it. So this is how you can solve the problems. Okay. So I hope that with these many examples, you will be able to solve any kind of given problem, because I've shown you how to draw a prism, how to draw a pyramid, how to draw a first term of a pyramid, then how to draw cylinders, how to draw a sphere, how to draw a hemisphere. So these are the very basic geometries which you come across in your problem. So with this, you can solve any kind of isometric problems in the isometric drawings. But very important thing I forgot to tell, reduce it to isoscale, very important. So select everything, click on scale command, select the base 0.8164. Don't forget this, reduce it to isoscale, then show any one dimension of this, any one dimension of the cylinder or anything or the any object, and then you have to wind it up. So that's it, right? So I hope this was helpful to you people. So with this, you can solve any kind of problems in isometric drawing using AutoCAD software. So thank you for being with me. Thank you.